Hey, what's up, everybody? So, first of all, I want to start this video with some accountability before I go into my rant. Um, I have over invested. As simple as that. I have over invested a lot of the money that I would use to pay bills, a lot of money that I would use to just keep in my account. I'm throwing it into stuff that I think can give me an opportunity to make a lot more money than I have. I'm a firm believer in the idea that every person should try to invest in something, whether it be real estate, whether it be yourself, your businesses. If you can do things with your hands, put money into yourself, do it. Before a lot of us, we really don't know what we can do for ourselves. Maybe we're not knowledgeable. Maybe we don't have talents in those areas. We got to take the little money that we make, and if there's an opportunity to make a big play, you throw it in there and you go YOLO, especially if you don't have kids like myself. You just take everything you can and toss it into something you believe in. That's what I've done. Okay? Whether it works or doesn't, I'm all in and I'm okay with it. I've thought about it, prayed about it, peace with it. Problem is, a lot of times we get overboard when we get involved in something, want to throw everything we have at it, want to not take care of home, and that's not the way to go. That's not the way to go. So before I get into what it is that I'm angry about, I felt like that would probably be the best thing to say. Like, look, I did a lot of things to put myself in the space that I'm in, regardless if I think it's fair or not. I did that, and I don't regret it, and it's just a term. The issue that I'm dealing with is short term. What I'm due to make from what I've done is worth it. So let's make that very clear. I'm not confused about any of that. With that being said, I have a big gripe with big banks right now. Any bank that does this. The bank that I work with, Chase, is happening to do this, but there are other banks who do this probably on the same scale or maybe even worse. So it's not like I'm speaking just about them. This is for any and all banks that have this policy. When you are overdrawn in your account, your checking account, certain banks will charge you an insufficient fund fee. With Chase, it's $34. Anytime something isn't paid for, if there's a pending transaction that doesn't have funds either in the account or a direct deposit on the way that they can account for, they're going to automatically hit you with one of those insufficient funds fees. Now, if you call them directly and speak to a representative upon getting one of those fees, they will waive it for you upon request. But there is a limit to how many of those they'll do. And that information did not come to me. I thought it was something, and I should have known better. I was a bit naive to think that they would just waive fees. I mean, they're in the business of making money. So I would have to assume, if I'm thinking clearly, that there would be some limitation to how many of those they would do. But they never once articulated that to me when I called. Not one time did any of the representatives say, you know what? Now, if I do this, you only have 4 left or 3 left. No, they just say, oh yeah, we'll do that. The one lady waived 3 of them at once. So I'm like, shoot, this is what's up. They get it. People are struggling out here. Insufficient funds fees are trash. If we don't call, they'll leave them there. So maybe it's just a courtesy if you give them a phone call. Maybe they just be willing to do this for you. Blah, blah, blah. Super naive. I should have asked more questions, but my brain didn't give me that bit of intellect. So I made the mistake of assuming that they would always do so. I start looking at my funds, my account. Now, for me, the way that my situation works is I get paid once a week, which makes it much more difficult for me to manage than getting paid every 2 weeks. Just me personally, it's harder. I'm buying groceries, and then I'm trying to figure out how to get a big lump sum of money, right, to have for my rent, to have for everything else. It's just hard to balance on a small, security guard wage. It's just hard to manage, period. But it's definitely harder to manage when you're getting checks once a week. Groceries cost about $100. You look at gas at $20. You get whatever else you're gonna get. Maybe you grab some Jamba Juice, something like that. Then you got some bills to pay. You got to give $200 to your rent. You got to give $200 to the car people. You got extractions for insurance. You got extractions for that. Robinhood, also investments. So I got things that I'm trying to balance on little wages. When you don't make a lot of money, life sucks. But here's the thing. This particular week, I would not have been overdrawn had there not been 5 overdrawn fees for tiny transactions like a $10 here, a $5 there, that was going to the investment accounts like Robinhood that I would put a little money in, or Cash App that I'm putting a little money in. Each and every one of those transactions I'm being charged $34 for without me knowing it. They're not telling me that this is happening, nor did they tell me that there was a limitation on how many overdraft fees I can request, taken away from me. So that means I don't know what's going on in my account unless I check it. So a couple days ago, I checked my account. I'm doing the math in my head. I'm pretty decent with that. I think maybe I'm overdrawn, but I also think they'll probably waive the fees. So whatever, I'll call them, get the fees waived, and be back at square one like I always do. Well, when I called the lady a few days ago, whomever it was that I spoke with basically said there was nothing they can do for me because, in fact, there was a limitation on how many of those transactions they would refund, how many of the fees they would refund. Then from there, I left it alone. She said something along the lines of, you can call back in 5 days, see if they can do something for you. But as of right now, there's nothing I can do from the system. Okay, fine. Computers do what computer does. Can't force something that can't work. I called back today. Why did I call back today? Even though I know it hasn't been 5 days since we've spoken. Because when I decided that I wanted to look at my account, overcome the anxiety of looking at my account, which is something that I really have a problem with, by the way. Full disclosure, I have anxiety about looking at my account when I know there's no money in there. Even if the money is accounted for in other areas, which it is, because technically if I have to fix my problems, I just deplete my investment accounts and just fix my issues, but I refuse to because I'm making a play. But the anxiety that comes from looking at an account that you know you're being punished on, or an account that you know is depleted, it really, really does something to my brain. But either way, that's just something I have to overcome, and that's exactly what I did. I woke up this morning, I said, you know what, I'm feeling that anxiety, I'm feeling that tightness in my stomach about my account. I'm going to force myself to look at my account today. I know it's negative, so I'm not going to be surprised, but it is something that I choose to face this morning. So that's what I did. I opened my account, checked that bad boy out. It said negative 175. No different than what it said before. But the difference is, I looked at the insufficient funds fees. Now, excuse me, I said it was 175 missing? No, it was 173 missing. 173 and like 40 cents. So that'll tell you exactly what's missing. 173, 40 something. The insufficient funds fees are $34 a piece, right? They hit me with 5 of them. That came out to be $175. I should be plus 2 in my account. That's why I called today, because I'm like, now you said if there's enough money to cover everything that's in the account, then there should be no reason for insufficient funds fees, correct? If that was the case, and I look at my account and I see negative 173, and then I look at the insufficient funds fees and I see 5 transactions extracted for $34 a pop, the math tells me that the only overdraft that I have is your insufficient funds fees, bank. That's where I'm overdrawn. Not with my bills, not with my expenses, not even with the stupid stuff that I'm doing with my investing. No. All of my overdraft is them. All of it. So at this point, I'm like, all right. So what I have to look forward to upon my next direct deposit check, which I never see, obviously, because my company pays my bank. That's how I have it set up. Had it set up that way, like most people do, for a very long time. Now I have to look forward to $550 check, because that's all I'm making a week, being extracted $175 from because of these overdraft fees, for which should not have even be there. Literally should not be there. If the math adds up, they're robbing me. That's basically what it comes down to. If the math adds up, they're robbing me. Now, I know that there are a lot of things that will allow for this to happen. Again, as I've articulated to you, there's a lot of stuff I could have maybe foregoed a few of those past ones. Instead of letting that lady do 3 refunds, maybe I could have been more strategic about my refunds so that I could prepare for days such as these, when I, was in much more of a dire situation than maybe I was at those times. But because I wasn't given the option or understanding that there was a limitation on how many of those I could have refunded, there was no way for me to be strategic about it. So at this point, it's like, I would love to find a bank that doesn't do this, but I understand that most of the major banks do this. So I just wanted to make a video about it and just express to the wide open universe how unjust this entire system of banking is. Overdraft fees, from where I'm sitting, is unethical. Why is it unethical? because essentially you are punishing the poor for not having money in the form of taking money from them. That's unethical. That's wrong. Now, I know that there are a lot of nuanced situations that could be involved in that. Maybe people are doing things they shouldn't be doing. It's your right to punish to a degree because you're running a business. But when you're taking more money than's missing, we have to start asking a question here. Like, what are we doing? If you're taking more money than is missing, if you are a bigger bill than the bills that are being extracted from your account, making the account overdrawn, then what are we doing? So this is what needs to be said. I know nobody's paying attention to my account now, my channel now. I don't have many people following. It's maybe like 30 people following me, but eventually I'd hoped that someone would see this video and take the perspective from it. Take the experience that I have here and understand where this falls in line. So many people go through what I'm going through. So many people who making ends meet, get paid check to check, who don't have a lot for this, for that, who don't want to just have $3 every week. You know what I mean? Maybe want to put some money in an investment account so they can make some money so they can actually pay some people, you know, because the jobs ain't getting it done and they don't want to work 20 hours a week. I don't want to kill myself working. I would rather not if I have a choice. And I respect everybody who's doing it, but you know what I mean? I'm tired enough with the job that I have. I don't want to fucking kill myself out here trying to make a couple bucks just so these idiots can take it from me again. I mean, there's so much working against people in terms of the wealth gap in this country as it pertains to people being able to get enough money to invest with. The more you have, the more you can make. But there is no help. So getting that first so-and-so amount to invest with is the hard part. And this is what I'm going through, trying to accumulate enough money to just make some money. It's like, yo, I get it. Everybody's got it hard out here. Banks have bills too. They keep themselves going. They can't be just letting people do whatever. But at the same time, it's like, well, banks have ways of making money. The common man out here who's getting a direct deposit check of $500 a week with $400 a week in bills, yeah, he can't really afford to make anything happen for himself if his bank is working against him. His very own bank, of whom he's been working with for, in my case, probably over 18 years since they were Washington Mutual. I should have some leeway. There should be something that they can do for me other than saying, well, there's nothing we can do for you. You look forward to your next check missing $175 plus whatever you owe. It's like, yo, and the way my life is set up, I get paid after all of my chores have to be done. All my grocery shopping, all of the stuff that I do on my Saturday, so to speak, I don't get paid till my Sunday. Sometimes till my Sunday night, because of how my schedule's worked out. So I have to overdraw in order to pay for groceries a lot of times. It's not even a question of whether or not I'm gonna be overdrawn. It's worked into the equation. And they tell me, well, you know, there's one thing you can do. Some of your bills that you have extracted at certain times, you can change them. It's blah, blah, blah. I'm like, look, I hear what you're saying, but a lot of the stuff that I spend, particularly some of the money that I spend, like I said, it's only $500 a week. Groceries gonna eat up about 100 of that, you know, and then I'm trying to catch up with other bills, so it's like there's no real way to balance my stuff. But if I didn't have overdrawn fees, technically I would be at least in the green. Wouldn't be much, but I'd be in the green to a point where I wouldn't be worried about my next check being affected by anything that I'm not expecting. So at this point, that's my situation. Again, like I said, I can fix my problems if I deplete my investment funds, but they haven't ballooned, so it's only a couple bucks even there. But I could fix this problem, but that's not the point. It's like what does a person need to do to get themselves out of poverty aside from break the law and get famous? Like, that's really what it comes down to. When you look at how it's set up, how the entire system is set up, it's meant for you to fail. You get punished for being broke in regards to credit. You get punished for being broke in regards to overdraft fees. You get punished for being broke in regards to the government and taxes. They are making it so that those who don't have money are continuing to lose money in regards to the systematic situation here. It's not because they just can't accumulate the funds. It's because the little funds that they get is snatched away from them by big bullies or whomever, however you want to describe it. And that system in this country is not just. That's just wrong. And it's not a black thing. It's not a white thing. They're doing this to anybody and everybody who doesn't make a real good living. And so, yeah, it's something we need to address as a country. It's something that we need to address as a people. This is why things like Wall Street bets exist. This is why people are throwing everything they can at AMC and GME, because they're trying to balance out the playing field in regards to these type of things that I'm discussing here in this video. These are the type of things we're working against. And I'm not even at the bottom of the barrel. At least I have a job. At least I have an apartment. At least I have a car. Many people don't have that much, and they're being punished just like me. They're being punished just like me, having their money taken from them, the little money that they have taken from them by people who have trillions, billions. And the only reason why that's the case is because it is allowed. That's it. If we can identify it being unethical, then we can start doing what we need to do to change it. But conversations such as these must be had, and people need to see videos such as these to understand exactly how messed up this situation is. So I hope you guys are paying attention. Like I said, there's a lot that I can do. I started this out with accountability. There are a lot of things I could do to have changed my situation and made it better. But those things should not have to be done at all. My bank should not be taking money from my account for not having money in my account. That is unethical. It's wrong. It's the equivalent to bullying. In a time when we talk about mental health, in a time when we talk about being sensitive to everybody, want to cancel everybody and things like that, we need to start identifying these norms that are not normal. These ways of some of these old suits, these guys who've been running things for a long time, who were never good people to begin with. These are their system. This is their ways. This is their system. This is why it looks so horrible. This is why it's unfair, because they worked this way. This is how they accumulated their wealth. By cheating people this way for so long, by treating people this way for so long. It needs to stop. Thank God we're in a generation where our kids and our fellow man in this era, we hate all of that stuff. We don't think like our forefathers, and we don't need to. It's just about making sure that our habits catch up to that. So anyway, my name is BDF44. Thank you so much, man. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's doing better than me. And I hope to be doing better soon too, man. These are struggling times, man. I am trying here. You know, thank God I didn't have no kids, nobody looking at me like you got to feed me, because with the wages that I make and with my unwillingness to break laws out here and put my life on the line, it's hard to make any money, man. It's hard to make money. You know, I'm not one of those people that's going to be like, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, la 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 la, try to cheat you out of your money so you pay me more attention and change my life. No, it's just not how I'm wired, bro. If I'm going to die broke, I'll die broke. I promise you, I'm not that type of person. I hope to make money, but nah, everything that I do in regards to my artistic nature is organic, and I think I enjoy doing it because of it. I don't want to monetize everything. Some stuff just needs to stay a passion. And in this world where money is everything, I don't even know if you can anymore. I don't judge anybody who's not like me in that regard, because look how hard it is. I get it. I get it more now than I ever have. Either way, my name is BDF44. Thank you guys. I'm out.